Hello everyone, this is Randy with Control House. I'm going to show you a new product, one that we're pretty happy to have out at this point in time. It's called IntelliVerter. What it does is it gives intelligence to the common inverter used in an RV or a recreational vehicle. This device will mount in the battery compartment or mount next to the inverter in your camper. And what will it do? Well, it will allow you to program the cycle times for your inverter itself. How does it go about doing that? Well, if you look carefully here on the side of the IntelliVerter, you'll notice that it has a port, looks similar to the one that you have on your inverter. Through this RJ11 port, you simply plug it into your inverter, and if your inverter works on a maintained dry contact, IntelliVerter will turn it off and on at a programmed time, a time that you yourself can set by means of using a screwdriver right here in this little potentiometer to set the maximum time adjust. We'll show you that as we go along a little bit further. Now this unit is our basic model. What that means in IntelliVerter Basic, you're provided this keypad right here. It's a manual keypad. There's no displays or anything else, but it does give you enough information to be able to function and operate, control your inverter on your RV. Now the thing that's very nice about IntelliVerter is not only does it provide control over the input of your inverter, but it also has a secondary output. That secondary output can be used as an auxiliary output to control other power requirements for your coach. For instance, if you have a refrigerator, that's where the auxiliary output can go, making it possible for you to watch television while at the same time the program still functions controlling your refrigerator, which is a greater load, one of the larger loads that you'll have in a recreational vehicle. The thing that's important about shutting the output that goes to the inverter off when you're not using it is, remember, an inverter, as long as it's on, pulls power from your coach. Thus, it will deplete the battery in a short period of time. The IntelliVerter is built to stretch out the time that you need to go between charges, which ultimately will also stretch out the life of the battery in your coach. This will also make it possible so you won't have to carry quite as many batteries in order just to accomplish the purposes of running for an extended period of time using battery power to control 120 volt devices. So let me show you a couple other things about the IntelliVerter. First of all, once it's mounted, the terminal block down here in the bottom is removable, so if you need to, it can be removed relatively easy. What I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to actually put in here a terminal block that allows us to provide 12 volt power through this point right here. You'll notice there's a couple LEDs on this, and what I've done is those outputs are available on this terminal block, and one of those outputs of course is available right here on that port on the side in that RJ11 jack that would plug straight into your inverter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 12 volts power on this, and I'll turn the power switch on the side, and after a few seconds here the IntelliVerter will come up. The first thing it'll do is it will go into the on time mode, which means that outputs will turn on for a specified period of time. Now what we do is we adjust the maximum time adjust to determine how long a time period that the IntelliVerter would be off, the maximum time off. When it's in standard mode, the maximum time off equals the maximum time on. It's shown on this keypad by the green light that you see right here. If I push this button next to the green light, I can change the mode for the timing. Now we're in economy mode, thus the on time is less than the off time by a substantial period of time. If I hit the button one more time, we go to the miser mode. You'll see the LED flash a little quicker. The on time is even shortened more compared to the off time, which extends battery life. Now, since we're in the off time period, you can see the outputs have turned off. I can also do things like force outputs to come on. By pushing that button, you can see the LED displays that we're now bypassing the auxiliary, which means the auxiliary output turns on. And of course the inverter has to turn on in order to even provide power. If I hit that button once again, you can see both shut off. Now the top button simply forces the output for the inverter on, as you see in this situation. If I push the very bottom button, I can go from, right now we're in the miser mode with the output to the inverter forced on. If I hit the default button down here at the bottom, you'll see that all outputs return to the original state. We go back to the steady light, which means we're now in standard mode, which is off time equals the length of on time. All right, this unit, of course, does not have the digital display, which I'm going to show you on the next unit. This unit is the IntelliVerter Ultimate. And you might say it's the IntelliVerter Ultimate. Okay, the power is on this. Now you can see this one has the display in it. The next model up from the IntelliVerter Basic is IntelliVerter Basic Plus, which would include the display that you see here. This unit is still in the 1 minute on, 1 minute off timing cycle, and that's displayed on the display down here. It also tells you on the display what timing mode we're in. For instance, if I push the button here, you can see we go into the economy mode. The button or the light flashes as we displayed before. It also displays that on the digital display here. The same thing is true if we do have any bypasses. The bypasses show on the screen here, regardless of which way it is, which is bypass. It also tells you whether the output is on, because normally you may not have the LEDs like what we have here in order to see that that's actually taking place. Now, you could say this is the IntelliVerter Ultimate, because in this unit I've also equipped it with the third means of being able to communicate with the IntelliVerter, and that is by using a remote keypad like this one right here. The buttons on the keypad correspond to the same buttons that you see on the display right here. Now you hear a little beep going off. Well, that's a nice little test for us too, because the IntelliVerter also comes with a low voltage alarm, and that's what's going off right at this time, because I'm using a power supply that's slightly lower than 12 volts, so it's dropped enough to turn the beeper on. That's the alarm that's inside the IntelliVerter. Now let me show you something about the keypad. Again, it functions just like the manual keypad that you see right here. We're able to bypass the inverter, we're able to bypass the auxiliary output, we're able to change the timing mode status, we're also able to place it back in the default mode. Let me go ahead and hit this button right here, which will place it in default. You'll see that the LEDs will drop off, and since we're in the off cycle, the output shut off. You can see that by pressing buttons, I can bypass the auxiliary. I can do the same thing with simply the inverter. So if I wanted to watch TV on that, I'm able to do so. I can change the timing modes. So right now I just went into the economy mode. By hitting it again, I go into the miser mode. And by hitting default, I turn off all outputs and go back into the standard mode. The thing that's nice is that no matter which input device you're using, they all function essentially the same way. Now let me show you one other means of operating the IntelliVerter, and that's by means of using this Android application for the IntelliVerter. Right now we're in the off mode, so you can see not only can we see exactly what's going on in the battery compartment or wherever we've mounted the IntelliVerter, but we can also force things to take place. For instance, I can turn that auxiliary output on from our cell phone, turn it back off. Of course, now we're in the we're in the on mode, so it's going to stay in the on position. I can go and change the timing mode status right here. So I've gone into economy mode with that push of the button. Hit it again, it goes to miser. And then if I want to turn it back into the standard timing mode, I just hit this button right here, and it does that, and it displays here. The other thing that happens with both displays is they display for you the current battery voltage on the coach, which is really nice. And if you get the additional device that allows you to monitor current, a CT, which is a little extra expense, you can also monitor how much current is currently being used by your RV system. So there you have it, a little display or a little walkthrough of the IntelliVerter by Control House. It's available now. You can look on eBay if you'd like to take a closer look at it, maybe get a chance to purchase it there, or you can go to our website at control-house.com and take a look for IntelliVerter. Thanks a lot for your time.